government spent a total of 1.57 trillion naira on debt servicing in the first 6 months of the year. The Ministry of State for Budget and National Planning, Clem Agua, has said it stated that on government expenditure performance, 9.97 trillion naira was appropriated, while 4.45 trillion naira, representing 89.3% of the pro rata 4.99 trillion naira, was expended. The minister stated that out of the expenditure, 1.57 trillion naira was for debt service and 1.61 trillion naira for personal costs, including pensions. Thanks for joining us today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendu Osisiago. And today, we shall be discussing on Nigerian's debt management. That's the debt service in Gulps, 1.57 trillion naira in just 6 months. But before we go on with that discussion, let's look at what is happening in the business world. Transaction and the flow of the Nigerian Stock Exchange on Tuesday recorded marginal gain to reverse the previous day's loss. The all-share index appreciated by 3.82 basic points to close at 25,136.49 bps as against 25,132.67 bps the previous trading section. The market's capitalization of equities grew marginally by 2 billion naira from 13.110 trillion naira the previous day to 13.112 trillion naira as market sentiment remained in the positive territory. Meanwhile, a turnover of 271 million shares, which exchanged hands in 3,693 deals, was recorded on Tuesday. Further analysis of the day's trading showed that UPL PLC tapped the gain and stable with 9.91% to close at 1.22 naira per share, while Cornerstone Insurance PLC followed with 9.43% to close at 58 kobo per share. The federal government recorded a fiscal deficit of 488 billion naira in April. The Central Bank of Nigeria disclosed this on Tuesday in its monthly economic report for the month of April. Part of the report read that the fiscal operations of the federal government in April 2020 resulted in a deficit of 488.24 billion naira compared with the 181.27 billion naira benchmark and levels of 854.12 billion naira and 690.54 billion naira in March 2020 and April 2019 respectively. The decline was due to delays in capital releases, moderation in overhead costs occasioned by the lockdown on government offices, and consensual cessation of interest obligations due to the COVID-19 pandemic. With many oil and gas companies struggling to stay afloat amid the current market situation, exploration activities in the current has suffered a decline as the number of active rigs fell by 33.33% in July. Data obtained by correspondents from the Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries show that Nigeria's rig count fell to 6 in July from 9 in June. The rig count, which stood at 21 in March, fell to 16 in April and 8 in May. However, the rig count is largely a reflection of the level of exploration, development, and production activities occurring in the oil and gas sector, adding that the global oil benchmark Brent crude plateaued to as low as $15.98 per barrel in April, its lowest since June 1999. It traded around $45 per barrel Monday. Analysts at Financial Derivative Company Limited said on Monday that oil price volatility would continue in the coming weeks due to supply and demand concerns. The federal government has commenced the process of reviving moribund industries and across the country. The Ministry of Industries, Trade and Investment, Otumba Adeniyi Adebayo, disclosed this when it led a federal government delegation on a courtesy visit to the Emir of Kano, Aminu Ado Bayero, on Tuesday. Adebayo, represented by the Ministry Director Planning Alhaji Tijani Babura, said the purpose of the visit to Kano was to inspect and assess the affected industries. According to him, the team was not only in the state to assess the collapsed industry, but also to see how those managing their operations despite economic challenges would be supported. The minister said industrial revival is a great pillar for creating job opportunities for the teeming youth in the country. And that's the business update on television Nigerian. I am Chirandu Osisiago. Let's take a quick break. We'll be back shortly.
My name is Chirandu Osisiago, presenter Television Nigerian Business Daily. In a globalizing world, ours is to keep you engaged, informed and educated on contemporary happenings in the business world. We therefore command a special audience of business-minded viewers who are eager to know more about business, I mean your business. Why don't you take advantage of our special affordable offer to let the world know about your concepts, your goods, and of course, your services? You can call us on 080-3071-6959 or 070-3234-9054. You can also visit us at Television Nigerian in Guzapi, Abuja, and follow us on all our social media handles on Facebook, YouTube, and of course, on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Your business is our concern.
Thanks for staying with us again. And if you're just joining us, it's TVN Business Daily. And like I said earlier, we shall be discussing on the Nigerian's debt management. That's the debt servicing Gulps 1.57 trillion naira in just 6 months. Well, my guest is here in the studio to talk about it. He is a freelance journalist and also a public speaker, Mr. Shamsuddin Abdul Razak. You're welcome to TVN Business.
Thank you very much for having me.
You're welcome. If you're looking at the debt servicing going to 1.57 trillion naira, such a huge amount of money in just 6 months, what do you think is the effects to have on the economy at large?
Starting from the main, the debt itself, okay. According to the proposed budget of the revised budget, which was revised sometimes in June, it's estimated that 2.9 trillion is actually budgeted for debt servicing. Okay. So, and I think it's even a very good one if we are able to at least have paid 1.5 in just 6 months. So, which means we just have 1.4 to pay before the end of the year. But one thing is the negative trend, like as it is now. The negative trend is going to have on the economy is that the money that is meant for, that's supposed to be used for some other things, are actually being used to service debt. And those money that, the debt that is even being paid for, it's actually something that is still recurring. Because if you look at it critically, they are for infrastructural debts that were incurred, especially from China. So, which are for the rail projects, the road projects, the Lagos-Ibadan Expressway, the Kano-Abuja Highway, and the Abuja-Kaduna light rail project. And a host of close to 11 projects, which are infrastructural projects that's actually going on. So, but then where we actually have issues is if that money is actually not being used judiciously. So, it's going to have a negative trend on the economy. But all in all, Nigerian is not the only country that actually has debt. And if we look at it globally, our debt rate is even lower compared to other countries of the world. So like I said, where we will actually be having issues is if that particular money that is actually being collected from the countries are not being used judiciously. Because if we want to look at, there are 3 stages of debt. We have the multilateral debt, which are being incurred from the likes of World Bank, African Development Bank, Islamic Development Bank, and a host of other ones. Then we have the bilateral debts, which are being incurred from countries to countries, like that of Nigerian China, Nigerian Japan, Nigerian France. And we also have the commercial debts, which are being incurred. That's for the external debts. Then we now have the domestic debt which is being incurred in Nigeria. Like just of recent, we had the Sukuk bond, which was shared. And that one is the Nigerians themselves lending the government money to say, okay, fine, carry out infrastructural projects. And at the end of the year, it's usually like the current one is a 7-year tenure. So the Nigerian government is going to pay back in 7 years' time. So people are going to get their money back in 7 years' time. While by that of majority of the debt we incurred from China, the tenure time period is like for 20 years. So it's like a very long period. So the idea is the fear that people have actually been raising over time, and currently there's a probe going on in the National Assembly as regards that issue, is that if we are unable to pay, it seems China is going to come take over the country and some other things. But then there is what we call the sovereignty clause in every trade, in every debt agreement. And that sovereignty clause actually stated that, okay, fine, these countries have the right to exceed other means. If after 20 years, Nigeria is unable to pay up the debts, so Nigeria doesn't have the right to actually stop any of those countries from using any other means to get their money back. Okay. So it is not synonymous to China alone. It is like what is usually being put as a table. Okay, I'm going to borrow you money and we're going to carry out this project for this period. Then if the project is being handed over to the Nigerian government is expected to pay back. So if after 20 years you're unable to pay back, okay, we are going to exploit all this means to actually recover back our money. So, and the idea is when you are in debt, you are actually very, very at the mercy of anybody that is giving you money. Even it's just like the normal human to human debt incurement. So how it's actually going to have a negative trend is if we are not investing the money yes, on something that is going to be like an asset, that is going to be like infrastructure that is bringing in money. So like the rail project, for example, you get to see that, okay, the rail, for example, during when they came back to in operations earlier this month, the money from Abuja Kaduna rail has actually moved from 1,000 naira to 3,000 naira. So it means that the federal government is also looking at that. So those projects they are putting the money in are those ones that are going to bring in money for us as a nation. So if we are not doing very well in that regard, then definitely there is going to be a very big problem.
Okay, you talked about we paying back the money in 20 years. Do you think that Nigeria as a country can actually pay back the debt in 20 years? Yes,
we can, because there is usually what we call the debt waivers. Okay. Yes, it actually depends on how your relationship is with that country. If the GDP of Nigeria actually drops, and they now discover that, okay, this country has actually moved from a developing country to an underdeveloped country, so there might be like, okay, fine, for us to move out of this, we might get a debt waiver, or we might get an intervention from the World Bank that is going to come in to say, okay, fine, let's help these people move away from their debts. So, but yes, if we actually intensify the money and we intensify efforts in actually investing in infrastructural projects, we are going to go a long way in helping ourselves to actually pay up within that period.
But despite the high debt service, and the president is still considering borrowing money from the other countries, shouldn't be this a concern to him, as in the aspect of repaying back those loans?
Yes, if you've actually looked at the trend of the current administration, theirs have actually been on infrastructural development. They've been clamoring, and they said, okay, they want to actually have the infrastructural drive. It's actually a very good one, but then the analysis should be that, okay, what is there for the average man on the streets? Because take it or leave it, in 3 years' time, the government is going to be out of office. So another set of people are going to come in and take over. And even currently, the federal government is saying it incurred debt from the previous administration. Okay. So, and it's just like a normal thing for governments to incur debts, in as much as the government is using the money for what is actually supposed to be used for. So their own is to say, okay, fine, we have this project, and this is the viability. Okay. This is the viability of the project. And this is the amount, the money, this is the amount the project is going to bring into the economy. So, for example, you're considering the likes of the Ajakuta revival.
Yeah.
Yes, bringing in the Russian government to also come and invest and also help in that process. So that particular one, if it starts running, is going to be generating more money for Nigerians, and at the end of the day, it's going to go a long way in also boosting the economy. So if such projects are being conceived and they are being brought to limelight, it's going to even help us to have enough to be able to pay up debt and also reduce the level of debt we are actually having as a nation.
Okay, so far so good now. The debt's been borrowed. Has they been really utilized?
Yes.
Like in the various sectors.
Yes. Going through the one that is actually very, very prominent. That's the infrastructural projects, and there are a lot of these government projects. They are actually said to be like 70% completion, 60% completion. Like the Lagos Ibadan Expressway, which is supposed to be like one of which is one of the projects that is being that the money is being invested in. Yes, has like close to around 50% completion, which means it still has a long way to go. Yes, the Warri Itape rail project is actually up to 90% completion. The Enugu airport, which is also part of what the money is being borrowed for, is said to will be ready towards the end of this month. So some of the projects that the government is actually investing such money in is actually picking up. But all in all, if we want to rate it in a scale of 100, you can say, okay, fine, we are still possibly within the range of 50% performance.
Okay.
So yes, but we can actually rate the government 100% performance so far with the judicious use of the money.
So you're saying that the government has actually tried in that aspect of using the debt wisely?
Yes, well, not like fully.
Not
like
fully.
I said, 50%.
Okay, so now what do you think the government can actually use that money for now?
Yes, looking at what we are looking at as what we've actually had over time is because we've not been we have large population, but then we don't have structures in place that will actually help fix this population into the working that is the working class, that is the employed system. So if we have a situation whereby this particular infrastructures are in place, they are going to produce get direct and indirect jobs for Nigerians, and by so doing, if the government is actually aiming at a particular project, so you're going to see that either directly those people that will be employed are going to be then indirectly, like for the roads now, directly you're going to see maybe people that are going to start businesses within that highway, and there are also people that you now have more of other people working within the space. Even for the rail project, you're going to see more people being employed as the railway staff. Then you now see people that are going to come sell, people that are going to be maybe doing other menial jobs within. You're going to see maintenance engineers for those particular train, and you see a lot of things. You have that particular economy is going to be boosted. Same thing with the steel company that is going to be revived. So we expect that in the nearest future, all these things are going to be fully into completion, and we're going to realize that. But then there is this clause about the Nigerian system whereby something that's actually been working in other places seems so impossible to work in Nigeria. So we have a lot of bottlenecks, from the leadership style to the kind of the greedy nature of people that makes things work. Sometimes some people will say, okay, fine, if this particular project is not coming from our own place, they will actually want to stampede it. So those are the bottlenecks we'll be experiencing over time. So, but then if you've actually looked it on and all, even looking at what we want to invest in, like the Nigeria, I was watching a report a day before yesterday, and what Kenya is actually using for its foreign exchange is just basically tea and this flour, the rose flour, that's what they're exporting out. So if you want to maybe gift out somebody, or you want to give somebody a souvenir, so all those things are coming from Kenya, and that is the chunk of what they are pushing out, of which Kogi State alone has abundant tea that can actually be churned out. So, but then if attention of the government is not being shifted to that side, now what we've actually had over time is the rice production, and there are investment in that light. But then that still doesn't stop the fact that there are still importation of the foreign rice into Nigeria. So we've had those things in place. So there have been clashes in government policies. When you see that you find there is going to be a media coverage for a particular government policy that is working, and at the same time, when you look deeply, you discover that there are a lot of hiccups in that light. So when you also look at what the ease of doing business in Nigeria, there have been a lot. So there have been a lot of hype for the ease of doing business in Nigeria, but of which, if you look deeply, there is still a long way to go. So even when you say, okay, fine, it's easy, come and access a particular loan from government, when you look at the procedures of accessing those loans, you get to know that some people are not even ready. But it's a good thing that the CAC law has actually just been revised last week, and we have more ease of doing business for especially the SMEs, so they can actually have access to such kind of things. Because one of those things that you look at is once the government get to borrow loan, they invest it in infrastructural development. Then the CBN itself is actually saying, okay, fine, we also want to help those people. Because if we actually have a particular structure in place, then you will now have people that will also want to bid contracts from government to actually make that in function. Because we won't also leave the fact that we have the issue of local content. Because if you bring in China, for example, to come execute projects in Nigeria, you also need to fulfill the local content, whereby some percentage of Nigerians needed to be also part of those projects. Because the Chinese government is not only giving us money, they are also bringing their technical expertise to also come work. So it's a different thing. Okay, we'll give you money, your local contractors will work. No, this Chinese government is also bringing its own expertise. So you have more Chinese companies coming to work, execute projects in Nigeria, and that's the more reason why people are actually raising an alarm that, okay, fine, I hope we are not selling ourselves to China. Yes.
But you have said so much about other sectors. What about the agricultural sector?
Yes, the agricultural sector is actually like the way forward for us, because the lands are readily available and the humans are readily available. Okay. So, and another thing we needed now is the policies. So currently we've had a situation whereby we have the Agmensis loan from the CBN. We have NILSA coming in now. Yes, to say, okay, fine, we also giving out loan for you to also start and harness. So what this thing also, the SMEDAN is also coming to say, okay, fine, they actually have a project of harnessing one particular local government. Okay, this is a particular government, you guys are producing shea butter. So why not create a cooperative whereby the only thing we are having from this particular local government is shea butter production. So they give you money, they give the cooperative money, then the cooperative, which has members who are all farmers, then they'll go into massive production. The Nigerian government is knowing that, okay, we are picking up a particular thing from a particular local government. So currently it has not been, it has not cut across the 774 local governments. But what the Nigerian government has actually done is to have 3 per state. So they pick up 3 local governments in each state to actually look at what they have, and they see how they can actually produce to get.
All right, that was a wonderful one. All right, let's take a quick break. Then after the break, we'll continue with our discussion. So stay with us.
Benignan Trading Group is a conglomerate of partnerships. I mean partnership with you. Partnership through investment for profit. Investment for returns, cutting across various corporate business spheres. Benignan offers you credible 15% returns on all investment with us. Benignan Trading Group, your choice's investment management company, has become a reality with the marketplace administrators carefully selected as young bright minds who would spearhead this move into creating more prosperity and distributing them. This is what we mean by benignant. So come, be benignant with our increasing community of happy and enthusiastic investors. Why not call us at any of our offices closest to you or dial our number. You'll be glad you did. You deserve the benignant touch.
BTG is your friend. BTG is your partner. BTG is your handbag. Yes, we are that flexible to become your handbag. We are your servants too, in the sense that we are using our information we've gathered, the knowledge we've come into, the understanding and mastered to bring you profit. Yeah, BTG takes the risk for you. BTG is your conduit to become better. We also give you return on investment on a monthly basis. Formerly it was 6%, but now it's from 7% to 15% return on investment monthly, which is categorized by capital.
You can call us on 0907 685 9446 or 0909 22 97081 or visit us on www.benignantcg.com. We are your reliable conduit.
Thanks for staying with us again, and if you're just joining us, it's TV and Business Daily, and we've been discussing Nigerian's debt management, debt servicing Gulps 1.57 trillion naira in 6 months. My guest has been discussing that with us in the studio. He is a freelance journalist and also a public speaker, Mr. Samsudeen Abdul Razak. Okay, now we've been borrowing money and all. So what are the consequences if we don't pay back these loans that we've been borrowing?
Yes, it's the Honorable Minister of Transport, Rotimi Amechi, said that he was even saying that, look, if you continue to probe this particular money borrowing, these Chinese people might be tempted of not giving us money again. But then the DMO, that is the Debt Management Office, have actually come out to say that, okay, fine, according to the budgets, every year they actually budget a particular amount for debt servicing. So, and the Nigerian budget is open, so you know that, okay, fine, a particular amount is going to budget to debt servicing every year. So, and it's spread across board. So it is expected that, okay, within that period, we're going to be able to pay up. And like I said, the worst case scenario is for the countries or the organization involved is to take over that particular project or infrastructure, be it if it's road, they might take over that particular project for a period of which they are going to be able to pay back or recoup their money, after which they are going to now relinquish it back to the government. That's the worst case scenario. So, but we don't hope to actually to get to that stage. So that's the worst case scenario. You have a situation whereby they will say, okay, fine. Like I said earlier, the sovereignty clause, you are going to give them that opportunity of looking for every means within the law to actually recoup their money. So if at the end of that 20 years or the 7 years tenure of any of the borrowing, this thing we currently have now, and we've not been able to pay up. So and at least we still have the opportunity to also plead for waiver. To say, okay, fine, we knew we actually signed this contract, but at the tail end, we are unable to meet up. Is either you extend for us or possibly you even waive for us. If the economy is not faring well, you can actually plead to say, okay, fine, please waive it for us. And we've had such in the past, and we would, yes. So we don't expect such to happen. Yes, because we've had a World Bank waiver, whereby the World Bank waived some of our debts. So, and that was when the former Minister of Finance, Ngozi Okonjo-Iweala, actually pleaded to the World Bank to actually waive some of our debts. So, but then, looking forward now, it's not only Nigeria that they've been this fight is as against what we have currently. The Chinese debt that we are currently having is like 11.1% of the total debt. So imagine a particular country alone owing a particular loan that's 11% of the total debt. So we still have debt with the Japanese company. We have debt with the France, the French government. We have debts with the IDB, Islamic Development Bank. We've had debts with other multilateral organizations also. So we have debts with other people, and even that's external debt, not even looking locally. So we just hope that the economic advisors to the government actually work out modalities to actually boost the economy, because all what we do is based on projection. So if the projections are right, then definitely the economy shoots up and we get money from it. And like I said, Nigeria seems to be like an impossible country, whereby what has worked in other countries are not actually working for us as.
Yeah. So now what's the way forward for Nigerians? Because whether we like it or not, we are all owing.
Yes, debt is actually not a very bad thing. Okay. It's just like there is a school of thought that says that debt is like a way of getting money from the rich and spreading it across those that don't have. So you said, okay, you have like maybe 100,000 naira and you're not using, it's just lying fallow. So okay, fine, I will borrow you that you don't have. So you use it to raise money. So it will get to a stage whereby you can also have, then you now pay me back my money. So, but then the idea of it is that it's like I said, it's not a very bad thing of owing debts, but the ability to pay back, number one, and also using it judiciously. So you can't say, okay, fine, you want to use debt to service recurrent expenditure, which is payment of salaries. It won't bring back. Yes, it won't bring back the money. But if you invest it in infrastructural development, it's going to go a long way in bringing in money. So, like the way forward for Nigerians is for us to actually look out, to the Nigerian government to look at possible ways of which we can actually go beyond borrowing. Definitely. So, yes. So if we have infrastructures in place, definitely, not only infrastructure, government policies. Nigerian people are not lazy. Once the enabling environment to thrive, people are ready to work. So once the business environment is actually conducive enough, people will be ready, the private sector itself will be ready to generate and increase the GDP of the country.
All right, thank you so much. To your final message.
Yes, to Nigerians and to our youths out there, let's, like it has been said, we have 2.9 trillion naira has been budgeted this year for debt servicing. Now imagine such 2.9 million naira is not being used for debt servicing and is being used for it's being popped into the economy, or maybe it's used for youth empowerment. You could see it's going to go a long way. So we want to urge the Nigerian government to try as much as possible to work in modalities that is going to help the economy grow. And we also, like the normal trend in Nigeria, we'll resort to God and we'll pray for the best, and we hope Nigeria is going to be great at the end of the day.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Samsudeen Abdulrazak. You have said it all, that the government should work modalities to help the economy grow in the aspect of investing in other sectors like the agricultural sector to help us to pay back the loans we are actually owing. Thank you so much for coming on TV and Business, Mr. Samsudeen Abdulrazak. He's a public speaker and also a freelance journalist. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, and that's the much you have for today on TV and Business Daily. I am Chiwendo Osisiego. And don't forget that you can follow us on all our social media platforms, on Facebook, and YouTube, and of course on Twitter at Television Nigerian. Do have a wonderful day. Bye for now.